Get ready for the morning rush.
A quick wrap of your news and weather. We'll start with Kristen Curry.
Good morning. Next big weather maker moving in for the weekend. So today we have increasing cloud cover over the western half of the state. A few spot showers likely over southern Colorado and that far western state line. But watch as we transition into tomorrow. Here comes more of those showers creeping over western and central New Mexico. Sunday looks to be the best day and the best coverage of the rain and high mountain snow. Crystal?
Start with news happening right now. Senate Democrats stage another all-night session leading up to today's final vote on President Trump's pick, Scott Pruitt, to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Opponents claim the Oklahoma Attorney General's beliefs are in contrast with the mission of the EPA to protect human health and the environment. Republicans disagree. They say it needs to be passed.
Sometime next week, President Trump's expected to issue a new executive order replacing his controversial immigration and travel ban. That order, which was only in effect for a week, banned refugees and people from 7 mostly Muslim nations from entering the U.S. A federal appeals court in San Francisco refused to reinstate that ban last week after it was temporarily halted by a Washington judge.
On to local news happening today. The man police say caused an officer-involved shooting is expected back in court again today. This time, 41-year-old Lee Brandenburg will face a judge for a burglary case and several warrants he had out for his arrest. That's what led to his run-in with police last Friday. Police say he then tried to carjack a woman and pointed a gun at officers before they opened fire.
New this morning, a bill that would require background checks for people buying guns privately or online is heading back to the House Judiciary Committee for what the sponsor describes as more discussion. That's according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. Licensed firearm dealers are already required to do a background check. This bill would apply to unlicensed sellers.
On to news happening now. A bill banning the practice known as gay conversion therapy heads to the House of Representatives. Some religious conservatives believe conversion therapy can stop people from being gay. It prohibits licensed physicians, psychologists, and other health professionals from using methods like electroshock therapy and shaming tactics on people under the age of 18. We'll let you know if it passes.
The next step for one lawmaker's proposal designed to make things easier for drivers is a discussion in the House Business and Industry Committee. Some lawmakers say current law is not clear on whether drivers can use a cell phone app to show proof of insurance. This bill would update the law to make sure that officers statewide do accept that as valid proof.
And we are 29 days away from the end of this legislative session. The superintendent of Rio Rancho Schools is pointing the finger at lawmakers over budget cuts. In a letter Sue Cleveland sent out, she points to the $3.8 million her district has had to cut this school year. Cleveland warns further cuts will hurt school activities, athletics, may even force them to shorten the school year. Kristen?
We're learning more about what may have caused the massive crater in the main spillway at California's Lake Oroville. A report says heavy rain may have contributed. The damage set off a series of actions and triggered the evacuation of hundreds of thousands of people. It is an area we're going to have to keep a close eye on today as more rain is expected in California, and it's the same storm that's expected to hit New Mexico over the weekend. Today is going to be that transition day, a little bit more wind here in the metro with increasing cloud cover, that is. Chilly temperatures this morning will be fine this afternoon, warming to the 60s, but do expect this metro threat index to climb over the weekend, peaking on Sunday. Fernanda?
An Albuquerque staple is once again making the national spotlight.
We're very honored, to be able to represent New Mexico like this.
This weekend, the Travel Channel will air an episode of Food Paradise, the Best Mex episode, featuring El Pinto's chili ribs and dry-aged steaks. Owners Jim and John Thomas say this national attention helps drive tourism to New Mexico. The brothers say it took the Travel Channel about 6 to 8 hours to shoot the episode. They brought out a crew of about 10 people, getting their restaurants team pretty involved. Details on when to watch tomorrow are on KRQE.com. Adam?
On to other new details. Getting a flu shot's helped cut trips to the doctor in half this flu season. The CDC estimates the vaccine's been 43% effective against the most dominant strain of the flu that's circulating right now.
Okay, listen to this. One company is getting national recognition for its stance on paid leave. Now, many companies offer it for new parents, right? But what about for when you get new puppies? The craft beer company BrewDog has introduced puppy parental leave, a paid week off to take care of a new dog. After that, workers are welcome to bring their dogs to the office. How interesting, huh?
Very interesting. I hear a lot of people cheering on that one. Albuquerque School District will soon partner with Dual Language Education of New Mexico to create a program that would allow students to get a bilingual education from K through high school. They say it's so that students are more prepared for the global market. APS approved the program on Wednesday and are now looking to hire bilingual teachers. Kristen?
Time now for a check on your Friday morning commute. Good news, no major crashes to slow you down. Everything moving at posted speeds on the interstates as well as the surface streets. But if anything pops up, you'll hear it first right here on KRQE.
If you're looking to enjoy today's great weather, here's a good opportunity. The Biopark's hosting its annual Great Backyard Bird Count this morning. You can act as citizen scientists by helping to take annual snapshots of migratory birds. Today's event's from 8 to 11 this morning, and pre-registration is required.
Also happening today, your chance to travel the world without leaving New Mexico. The Centennial Science and Engineering Library is opening 2 new high-tech spaces at UNM. Each one has virtual reality, allowing people to see and visit places around the world. An open house scheduled to happen today from 1 to 5. That sounds cool. We should do it.
That sounds fun. Okay, you know what they say, one man's trash, another man's treasure. Well, that was the case when workers at a TV recycling facility in Ontario found $100,000 inside an old TV. Turns out that the former owner had stashed the cash about 30 years ago, intending to one day give it to his relatives. The good news is there were also documents inside the television that allowed authorities to track him down and return the money. So there you go.
That is so neat. Okay, first of all, that the money was there. But second, that somebody just didn't take that money.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I wonder why these people don't get chance though. Okay, time now for the 5 facts.
Start with number 5. This morning, there's a warning about fake Garth Brooks tickets going around. The country star is scheduled to perform in Las Cruces on April 8th. Tickets go on sale today, people. Some were trying to sell them the fake tickets yesterday, so be aware of that.
Number 4, plans are being made to start construction on a busy Santa Fe intersection where some bad crashes have happened. We're talking about 599 and Via Veteranos, also known as County Road 70. 2 months ago, a crash put a pair of deputies in the hospital. Transportation officials say the makeover will eliminate left turns, but they still need to secure the funds.
At number 3, nice day today with some showers likely over the northwest. Best day for rain and high mountain snow will be late Saturday and mostly into Sunday.
On to number 2, news from Capitol Hill. This morning, several Hispanic Democrats, including New Mexico's Congresswoman Michelle Lujan Grisham, they're still steamed up after some of their fellow Democrats were denied entry to a meeting they requested with immigration officials. The other side of this meeting debate says it was due to a lack of space. The meeting was called by the Congressional Hispanic Caucus with ICE after recent immigrant raids across the country. ICE officials say a recent roundup in Las Cruces was not part of the operation. Lujan Grisham disagrees.
On to number 1 now, just days after President Trump's security advisor Michael Flynn stepped down over his call with Russia's ambassador. The nation learned the FBI is not expected to pursue any charges against Flynn. Yesterday, the president himself defended Flynn, saying the only thing Flynn did wrong was lie or withhold information from VP Mike Pence about that call. Flynn told the FBI he didn't remember all of what was talked about. There's still an ongoing broader FBI review of Flynn and Russia-related dealings.